All right.
Take three.
Take three. God's answered our prayers. We have increasingly good relationships with our neighbors, with their kids, and specifically with the Garibu boys, which are boys who have been given by their parents to an Islamic teacher, a Marabu. And so we've had a real good relationship with a handful of them, with one particular Karamogo, their teacher. So that's been really encouraging. We're excited about those relationships. Housing. So our place is
falling apart.
Yeah, by American standards, it's a wreck, you know. So if we're gonna improve something, you kind of have to knock it over, because like even the foundations are just termite eaten. So I wanted to do some work here, and Heidi says, at least talk to the owner first and find out if we can buy this place. It makes much more sense to improve a place that you own. So I called her. I talked to my friends. What would be a good price? Hey, would you speak on my behalf? Because, you know, that's a good, respectful way to do it here, to have a third party as a intermediary. And she never called, and I never got through to her. And God was just working on me a bit and saying, hey, just let me do it. All right, like you've prayed for it, you've made it clear, let me do it. So we were excited one day when Nani, the owner, showed up to collect rent, and we mentioned selling it, and she's like, never gonna happen, there's no way. She has two moms. Her dad had two wives, so when her dad died, now it belongs to both of them, and you can imagine they don't love each other. It is admittedly a very difficult thing, but after a little conversation, she grasped it. She's like, okay, I understand what you're saying. So she agreed to ask about selling it. And then she said, I also work at the mayor's office, so if they won't sell it, I'll help you find a property. And then she said, did you ever get the water thing taken care of? And we said, no, not yet. And you know, you told us you didn't have the papers. And she said, well, I know the guy that's in charge of that. I'll take care of the next step, get the ball rolling. So that was a very encouraging day. We put it in God's hands, and we got a way more than we expected response. So that was really encouraging. So we had the opportunity to do a teaching on marriage and ministry. That's a topic that these young guys at our church's little Bible school out here at the Orchard are in. So it was a real education. We were very glad to find a group of sincerely sacrificial, loving couples ready to serve the Lord, in a really unique group. And I'm a pessimist, so this is a good group of guys, I think, and their wives too are great. We learned also that our 7-question quiz that we gave at the beginning to kind of get to know our audience took about a collective 3 hours to take and grade. So yeah, we're hoping to do more of a biblical teaching on it, more than just a fun kind of get to know each other, look at a few verses thing. And the last answered prayer request was the opening of the border to Senegal, between Mali and Senegal. Yeah, there wasn't any big announcement or anything. This is the way it happened. We asked you guys to pray about it. We committed it to prayer, and we set a date. We said, if the borders don't open by the 12th, we really need to buy tickets, because it's just not that far out. So I made one last call to the Senegalese embassy when we had the tickets all ready to buy, and I got a hold of someone, talked to the ambassador there, and they said that, yes, Americans in a private vehicle with negative COVID tests can cross the land border. Yeah, we didn't really see it coming. We expected to click the button and just were doing our due diligence. But praise God, that is what we wanted. It's a wonderful opportunity to, as a family, to pause and to recenter ourselves on the best things, which are God and His Word.
And to be a small part of the kids' whole life there in Dakar. For the rest of the kids and for Jeff, who don't get to go for board meetings like I do, to get to see where they are, see them with their friends, meet some of their friends. It's really, really important, and it's not something we get to do often. So we're really thankful for that opportunity.
So that's it, right?
4 things.
And the prayer requests line up with the same things. One of those Garibu boys has a big growth on his ear, and it's getting worse and worse. It's been there a long time, but now it's really starting to get bad. I talked to him, and he said, yeah, he wanted to do something about it. I talked to his Karamogo, and he said he was willing. So tomorrow, Sunday, we are planning to take him on the 4-hour drive north of here to get a doctor that we trust to look at it and hopefully remove it. We want that. We could have just given money and sent them up, but there were no believers in that process. So we're going to take them. We want this to be a gospel opportunity. It's a right thing to use the money God's given you to make friends for heaven. So that's what we want this to be. God's opening doors, and we want to see His will done with this shop and with another property that we're hoping for. The shop is the best building on this property by a long shot, but I still managed to blow out the power yesterday trying to use my 5 horsepower table saw. It draws all the electricity that comes to this place. And I fried the wire, yeah. It's mostly fixed, but the table saw isn't, anyways. So just pray with that. There's all these sorts of little hurdles. We would like to be able to use it well and to engage people through it. The teaching, we want to do more teaching with those students. Language skills would be helpful. I taught partially in Bambara, but we had a translator too. And even when I speak in Bambara, it's good to have a translator because Americans don't say things the same way Malians do. And then for that trip, so we intend to go there, but just because the embassy said doesn't mean that that's the way it is. It's entirely possible that we'll get there and they'll be like, nope, it's impossible, you have to turn around. Or it's even possible that the Malian side, will give us trouble and say they don't want us to leave. So
be in prayer.
Yeah, those are just realistic possibilities. We know it's in God's hands, but it's a taxing thing if we drive 8 hours one day and drive 8 hours the next day to get turned around, and then have our kids be stuck there in the other country without tickets. So
yeah. Luckily you can usually buy tickets pretty last minute here, so we'd still get them home, but yeah. Lord willing.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Thank you. We wanted to make this last minute video because it's really important to us that you guys be praying with us. Yeah. And God be glorified as He continues to answer them.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Us and our place. In that group, oh no.
Somebody for me. I'll be right back.
They have a leader, Hamadou, who, kind of the unofficial leader, the kid that's the boss. Oh, you got that mango, didn't you?
Where do you put this?
Where do you put that? In the compost.
Yeah.
And then you can wash your face.
Oh my goodness. the direction that still exists from the
learning to read and write and stuff. So.
And even the ones who can, and I say this often on my behalf when I first offered to go and take this boy to get his ear taken care of. Mogosi tenadobi. Mogosi tenadobi. Nyafo shen biduru folo. Bi wula fe ye bi. Dogo kumwere.
He said they can't come in today, so they said, what about this afternoon?
All right.
Take 3.
Take 3. We
Come here.
Maybe let the tractor go by. Thank you.
Yeah, love you guys. Enjoy your cool weather.